You're pre-qualified, you're out shopping for your dream property, you locate it, and you realize we're just a little bit outside of our monthly payment budget. What do we do? Well, hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Alex Knaus. I'm a top-rated home loan mortgage originator. And in this video, we're gonna talk about when you've located your ideal property or a couple properties you wanna make an offer on, but we're just a little bit outside of our monthly payment budget. How do we handle this, and how do we have a realistic conversations with ourselves and also your lender? So before we even get down to that point, I wanna first address one of the most important things you can do is possibly buying a property is always getting pre-qualified first with a reputable lender. Have a conversation, get your approval done right away. And then number two is after you've been pre-qualified, pre-approved, run numbers with your lender. I advertise all over Realtor.com and Zillow, great websites. You may even connected from one of those websites, but the calculators they use aren't always that accurate. They use estimated taxes, estimated insurance. The interest rates they have online typically aren't all that accurate. You may have private mortgage insurance. Are we doing an FHA loan? Are we doing a conventional loan? And also once I get you pre-qualified, I have a template and I say, okay, great. I'm gonna go ahead and run numbers for you at this property address. This is the list price. These are the taxes. These are the insurance. This is how much you've elected to put down for the down payment. And then this is your rate payment, closing fees, and cash to close. So as you look for properties, hey Alex, there's 3 houses I like, cool. Here's your rate, payment, closing fees on all 3. And then as you look at the homes, you look at the payments, and it can help you do what's referred to as process of elimination. Yeah, we really like that house, but the payment's way out of line, or this one fits us just about right. So before you even get too far down the road, get pre-qualified and then run numbers with your lender. I recently filmed a podcast, and one of my guests was an individual who purchased a property. He wasn't a client of mine, very sharp young man, sophisticated, good job, good credit. He asked a lot of good questions, so I know he was doing his homework. And what his biggest gripe was is the lender did not encourage him to run numbers. So he found a house, came under contract, sent it over to the lender, got his loan estimate. All of a sudden he had no idea what the true monthly payment would be. And that is what I like to work on with my customers, which a lot of other lenders don't do. They don't run numbers based upon the properties they actually like before they make an offer with their exact information. And many times people come under contract, wow, this is more expensive than I anticipated. So we can always knock that problem out well in advance. Let's fast forward. You're pre-qualified, we've run numbers, you found your dream property, and we're a little bit outside of budget. I'm gonna share 2 examples of 2 different borrowers, how we're gonna go ahead and come through with a good decision to purchasing their dream home that's a little bit outside of their budget. So borrower number 1, very organized, very successful. She has 3 German Shepherds in a condo. I could never imagine having 3 German Shepherds in a condo, and I get where she's coming from, and she wants to purchase a single family detached residence with a good sized yard. Right now, she has a relatively low payment on her condo, and the home that she's purchasing is gonna have a higher payment because it's more expensive. And of course, interest rates are higher now than when she obtained the interest rate. So her budget, principal, interest, taxes, insurance is about $2,000 a month. When we ran the numbers, principal, interest, taxes, insurance, her total payment's about $2,200 a month. She's a little bit outside of her budget, but she really, really wants the property. Budget's $2,000, payments $2,200. She is still approved for the loan. And a couple things I brought up to her. First and foremost is quality of life. You're going from a condo with 3 large dogs to a single family detached home with a large yard. You love your dogs. That's going to give you joy and fulfillment. Your quality of life is going to go up right then and there. Another thing is the interest rates now and where rates are going to be in the future. Nobody has a crystal ball. Nobody knows where interest rates are going to be or when they're going to go low, if they do or if they don't. Generally speaking, they're probably going to come down sometime in the near future, between 6 months and 3 months. We have thought they would have come down by now, but they haven't, but it's still anticipated they will come down. In the last 20 to 25 years, the average mortgage rate's usually about 4.5% to 5.5%. They've been in the 2s, they've been in the 7s, but when you average it out, it's usually about 4 to 5%. So using some arbitrary numbers, her purchase price is $400,000. She's putting $100,000 down. That's a $300,000 mortgage. She's selling the condo, and her payment is going to be $2,200 a month. The budget's $2,000, and we're just going to say 7% rate, which is relatively common here in 2024. Some days higher, some days lower, but just for conversation's sake, we're at 7%. If rates come down to 6% on a $300,000 30-year fixed mortgage, all in principal, interest, taxes, insurance, we're at $2,000 a month. So all we have to do is see interest rates come down from about 7% to 6%. We can do a refinance, principal, interest, taxes, insurance. We're at $2,000 a month. You just have to have the mortgage for about 6 months, then you can refinance. So she will go ahead and close in August. Her first payment is not due until October, November, December, December, January, February, March, April. So probably refinance around then if rates are lower. And if she's at 6%, boom, we've already hit her budget goal. So another thing I want to talk to you is about interest tax write-off. Now, I'm not a CPA. This is not tax advice. Always consult a legal tax professional if you ever have any tax-related questions. Generally speaking, your interest can be a mortgage tax write-off. So I ran some numbers based upon $300,000, give or take 7% interest. Her mortgage interest deduction the first few years is around $4,500 to $4,800 a year. If it's $4,800 a year, we divide that by 12, that's about $400 a month with regards to tax savings. So I truly think that she's a good candidate to go ahead and buy a property over her budget. She's got a good job and a very good career. She has the ability to work overtime. Her quality of life is drastically increasing. Interest rates come down. We can always refinance in the future. And at the same time, the interest tax deductions. And when I say this, we're not buying a car, we're buying real estate. Generally speaking, as time progresses, real estate goes up in market value. Places like Phoenix, Arizona, I do not see real estate prices ever coming down again. We have a supply and demand issue. More and more people are moving here than they can build properties, and anything inside a certain corridor is always going to have a price increase because people are just simply moving to Phoenix and we just can't necessarily keep up with the demand. So we're not buying an appreciating asset like a car. Hey, have this higher car payment to get the leather interior. No, cars depreciate over time. Real estate appreciates over time. So not only is this an improvement of quality of life, it's an investment in your future. And we all know you build generational wealth with real estate. So she should absolutely go through with it, even if we're a little bit outside of her budget. Borrower number 2, gentleman is retired and he wants to live that recreational fun in the sun life in Arizona. I get it, I agree. The more active retirees are, the better I feel they enjoy their retirement. Arizona is a great place for that. There's places like Sun City, Sun Lakes, Bullhead City, Kingman, Golden Canyon, Golden Valley. There's a many different great places to go ahead and retire here in the state of Arizona. He is relocating from California to Arizona. Right now, he is not old enough to receive Social Security, but he does get his pension from his prior employer, does pay him a current pension, which is for the rest of his life. So he does have income coming in. He's relatively young, able-bodied. He even mentioned to me he's probably going to go ahead and get a part-time job while out here in Arizona. Again, similar to the recreation thing, be active, be involved, go get a job at Home Depot or Lowe's, maybe at a golf course or a floral shop. I'm always big on encouraging retirees to stay as active as possible. Now back to his budget. His budget was $1,500 a month, principal, interest, taxes, insurance. We've identified 2 properties and the house he really likes is $1,750. So he's looking at a cheaper home and a more expensive home. The cheaper home is a manufactured home with a carport. The more expensive home is a single family detached 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom with a 2-car garage. And the other one was a 2-bedroom. So he's getting an extra bedroom. It's a single family detached stick-built property with a garage. And the other one is a manufactured home with a carport. Now, I do finance a ton of manufactured homes. There's a lot of bang for your buck with a manufactured property, but this gentleman really wants a single family home and it's a little bit outside of his budget. And I was like, listen, a couple things here. Number one is you're going to be working part-time. Making $250 over 30 days is going to be relatively easy. No problem for you that's number one. Number two, you have an adequate amount of money in savings. So we're going to talk about building in the higher payment into your budget on an annual basis. And also he is going to be getting a very nice sum of money every single month from Social Security, and that's going to pay out the rest of his life, just like his pension is going to be as well too. So we're $250 over budget. If we take $250 times 12, that's $3,000. Set aside $3,000 and say, okay, my goal is to refinance my mortgage down about a percentage point within about a year. And if I'm able to do that, it's going to cost me about $3,000 of being over my budget. And I was like, okay, that same house is $250,000 today. You think a year from now, that same house is going to be $253,000? Absolutely not. As interest rates come down, more people move to Arizona, that $250,000 house could be $257,000, $259,000, $262,000, and there could be multiple offers on it as well too. So I was trying to explain to him, you have a lot of money in savings, you still get a pension, take some of that money in savings and just set aside $3,000, which is 1 year being over budget, and your goal should be able to refinance within that year. Now, if you're not able to refinance, you stated you would be working part-time and eventually your Social Security will be kicking in here in the upcoming years as well too. So that's another candidate. Buying something over his monthly payment budget is not going to go ahead and be a bad decision. First and foremost, the quality of life is exponentially going up. He wants to leave California, wants to move Arizona, new chapter in his life, buy the single family residence with the 2-car garage and the 3 bedrooms versus the mobile home. You're going to have the interest tax write-off. More than likely in the future, interest rates are going to come down. When your family comes and visits you, some of the greatest memories you're always going to have are in your property. So as I stated, maybe cut back on spending money on this and money money on that, and you're going to have much more of an enjoyable experience living in a nicer home, even if it's a little outside of your budget. Now, just as I talked about the first individual, this gentleman does have a game plan. So if he's over budget, he plans on refinancing when rates come down. Doesn't really take a lot. He told me he planned on getting a part-time job, just working a couple hours a week will pay off the difference here. He's got a lot of money in savings, set aside some of that as a nest egg to cover any increases in budget here. Also, he's going to be getting Social Security in the future, and a single family detached property is going to go ahead and increase in value greater than that $3,000 more than likely, and the quality of life for him relocating to Arizona and plus living in a single family home over a manufactured home. So that's another individual I encourage, hey, it's okay to be outside of your budget because what you're doing checks every single boxes. Now, if you have bad credit or your job stability isn't that good, or your life isn't all that put together, again, I'm not trying to preach from a soapbox here. If you think things are kind of a stretch and you're kind of stretching yourself as is and you don't have a plan, let's just say you're towards the end of your career or you're in an industry that's coming down, something to consider living below your means. But if you're a young professional, your income is going up, you think rates are going to come down in the future, absolutely go ahead and consider it. I'm never encouraging anybody to be house poor. Absolutely not. I'm encouraging you to have a realistic conversation with yourself, your friends and your family, your peers, people who are going to be living in the property with you, visiting the property with you. Hey, this is what I'm getting. This is my current lifestyle. This is the current payment. Do you think this would fit within my budget? And most people are going to say yes when you take a look at it from a logical perspective based upon those items I've listed prior in this video. Hope you enjoyed this video. Again, quick recap, always get pre-qualified right away. Get pre-qualified with a reputable lender and run numbers with your lender based upon the properties you like. Begin your search for real estate. If you run across a property that's a little bit over your budget, really take some time to think about it. Reach out to me. We can kind of run through what's going on with your life, where are interest rates, where do we need to be to hit your target monthly payment budget, and everything is going to work out well for you. So enjoy this video, and I'll see you on the next one.